One man, one God, Trinity. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. So today we're gonna speak on on things that I just spoken to prior to this recording. So when I'm saying oh, don't come over here focusing on this girl and that dude. When I mention things like from DR and things like that. So the key is not to focus on people, because this is the fastest way. Scantrum and people that feel like they can control the narrative of where the energy is, where the frequencies is, and where you need to go about it. They'll make you focus on something that's not of that frequencies. That is part of what I said, but is not what I'm saying. You see what I'm saying? To drift you off, to take you off of what really is. And then they could create some other Pinocchio stories. Christopher Columbus, Banana Republic. So when I'm saying, I don't mean that I'm trying to put anybody down. I'm lifting people up with the frequencies. What's putting it down is people taking it where it doesn't need to go. Taking it out of context, taking it for Scantrum, taking it for Commando, I'm the hero. Nah, we don't play that. We don't play corny. We don't play around our roots. We don't play around our artifacts. Tools that we use to elevate each other, to make civilizations better. Let me talk to you about civilizations and better. We've been knowing about, let's go on the educational field. How long? Maybe more like a decade now. I remember the first beginning talks. Now it's like a broken record. Now people are not even saying it because it's something. Now people are more focused like non-AI. But really, what was people saying? That people were graduating, and when they graduate, they come out in the world. It doesn't match the reward from graduating. They're not staying in the professions that they graduated in, and they go back to school. They end up being more in school than outside in the world. They haven't even gotten experience out here. And the experience out here doesn't match the rewards you get from finishing school. That's a fact. So that tells you a lot about the system. The program is a program. The program might not match the nature. They look at it like the society and the work field, what people is in demand, and they're never going to tell you it never matches the nature. But studies and people, just like marijuana, people know the facts because we have our nurses, we have people that been on it, and we know all the studies on it, on any medical level, and more, because you haven't even seen what you see now, like in the Scream, how they idolize, they modelize it into like people in hip hop. That's what I'm saying. This is a superficial care factor. It's not even telling you what is of it, and this is what is of it. This is part of the advanced civilization that's taken medicine, not integrating and merging it with the modern. Of course, all our countries and the islands, in colonial times, we were stripped of all of it. And people that don't even have medical field experience to create institutions now that's gonna force these medical practices where it's now all the medicine from the natural is converted into something that's modern, and they add the non-human, non-naturals substances into these modern medicines that they call modern medicines. On top of that, they have the natural healing components to it. is all the natural components and the idea of something that has property of healing is that of a natural. Your body's not gonna take a healing fact if it ain't come from your nature, if it ain't come from the natural. It's not gonna take it in like that. So that just tells you why it doesn't fit. Why you graduate and that field after you graduate, it doesn't even, you can't even make money on it. But you was making money on in some point when you was graduating from high school, it was. But you see how fast things change? Now imagine that, but in the lower, where that's 10 times faster. So you got to know what you're doing around here. You see what I'm saying? And you got to know what nature is all these education, work field bonded to. Because if they not, they most likely are going to be up and down, up and down. It's just people investing money in it. But it's not something that is a demand of the nature that's going to continue growing. So things do fade out, and they will, because the practice doesn't hold. No matter how much degree, how much you have in the law, how much you have in the, if your nature doesn't hold up, you're just a program out of your nature that needs to be accountable for. You can't just go away because I am the president of the United States. It's not going to go away. Your titles don't make things go away. I'm the health department chief in this superficial care. That doesn't match when you graduate. Now, how you going to, where all these people with all these titles? They don't have not one thing when all these pandemics are happening and all these things in their field needs to cover it. And we're just following that. That's not the way our nature lives. And that's not life. So when you have educations that you see that the education field, that was 10 years ago when you heard those talks surface. And then you actually was seeing it a few years after. You're like, people was all agreeing. People are graduating, and the rates of people just graduating and falling into that field are lower than the lowest. And the people creating and making money out here have all totally different fields. And not only that, the medical field also is moving rapidly, where of its nature, people are bonding to it. People never left it out. It's just when you have things that have been colonized, you've been brainwashed, you're just on that routine, and you have generations on that routine. You grow, and your generations, even though if they get the right information coming in, they still practice. It's like they're not out of it. You feel what I'm saying? So this is what happens on the usual, on a daily basis. So you gotta peep that. You gotta understand that that's something that's going on that you have to cater to. If they use slavery, they use slaughtered and all these things to implant these things in our minds and our bodies moving this way. You have to do certain things to take these things for perspective to grow out of. Can't keep that in and then feel like you're going to see things of your nature. You're not. It's in you, but you're not moving with it. You feel what I'm saying? And it's out here. All the answers are out here, but you're not. You see what I'm saying? You out of your nature. You in a program, and then this program, you already learned that they have the education, they have the medical, and they have X, Y, and Z. Not the medical or the education matches. All the top militants of top psychologists, top of all the tops. I'm talking about, there's no tops that you're going to go more to the president, right? You have all these fields that don't touch that they off, and they can't even do the presidency. They can't work the presidency and give the people what they need. You feel what I'm saying? It's superficial. You have people that are graduating and you depend on all these titles, and they're enforcing these titles with superficial care. And that's why a lot of people don't even, they're not connected to the field that they worked in. When they see it out here in the reality, it doesn't go with the people's nature. It hurts more than what you're doing something. You're supposed to graduate and feel good that you're doing something for the community. That's why people take a knee where they work. It's not about that money. People, this is what the creation of these programs is like, the same thing as the music industry. The music industry is just a product that you could put your music in. But what happened is that they created a system with it, right? A program. And then the program rewards you like an education would, like a title would. It rewards you, right? So because it rewards you, you go with that specific thing. Now, what happened to the music industry? Gone. How can it be gone? You have all the you see what I'm saying? You have all the talent. But you want your talent to go, is justified by somebody else's capital and how they want to move the world with it. And they create something for it. And then those that have grown and say, oh man, they got me into this contract. Like, that's a broken record. That's why my last ones was just laying it down. Like, you shouldn't even be on that anymore. And the people that are supposed to, that been through that and probably capped a little more, and they have the billions, they have the millions and stuff, they're not putting anything to your nature. They adding more to the field, and then they wanna talk football and entertainment with me. Going backwards in life, we got that. Michael Jackson done dittos. That's a done dittos. So I'm gonna tell you right now, with this piece of information you have, and the education that goes all the way from the Caribbeans, that we know how to, we're the first ones to deal with everybody coming over here and making deals. We had to settle through all that. That people couldn't, the residue and everything is a fact. There wasn't just one person. That's why you're gonna focus on, oh, it's this girl that he, no. Folk, don't let them throw you off of your education. Don't let them throw you off of your nature, your roots, your artifacts. This helps you grow mentally, physically, economically. In what field? All field. And I already showed you through the foots. I'm a made man, self-made man. I took you through the steps. When I was younger, I put things in perspective that blown up. I shown people where all these things that contribute to your mind, body, that takes you off your nature, I was always on it. And I didn't have nobody, although I had the people of the frequencies of the nature of our roots. We use the frequencies that never could blind us through anything, so we see everything in the clear. And it's so clear that the nature and all of nature speaks on it, and it speaks on me. And this message right here came from the Trinity, because I didn't sit down and had the philosophy written for me, my man. It was given. It is already there. So why am I gonna go to, I don't need to go to nobody for that. It's right there with you. You got it. God, one member, one God, right? So you take this, and we, not only that, look at the education of when I'm even in elementary, from all grades, we're speaking things on medicine. We're speaking things on our culture, our identity, that in certain modernized places, all modernized places, people are rejecting their own self and throwing it out to a countryside where there's nothing, advanced. So they're like poor, criminal type, like they are delinquents, banning music, banning your identity to grow. The frequencies is more. People that canalize know the frequencies bring you back to your nature. So if we from that point we were defending ourselves and speaking on things, and now look at what we are now. I already know the realm and everything else in it is telling me all the people that we nurtured through, from DR, from Trinity, from all places, that these original frequencies are coming. We all have our place here. This is not to look at what the government is doing. This is not to look at what the people that have been running the world is doing. They not running the world. They not securing the world. They're not leading. They're not doing it because they don't have it. It doesn't match the reality of the world and what these systems are made for. But we have created through the divine and not being and clear, always seeing it clear. So there's no going back if we did the right, like to study. You could, people already know that. We already know that we on point. So we stay there. We don't go backwards. If anything, is frontwards. If you're forcing me to stay in one place and do the for you commandos, I'm the hero. That don't contribute nothing but making it like we gotta depend on. We're the strongest force that you are with any weapons or anything, because we know how to utilize everything we have. It's not about having all the money, because the money, people are running and they lose their whole identity for somebody else's capital that holds no roots. You think you on the top? You can't get to the top. You don't have no roots. So don't talk to me about the persons that are on the top with this money and that money, and you want to talk about you could give a rapper this thing and that thing and chauffeur it, and then we already see what the reality is. I don't need a spokesperson. I don't need I speak already on the third party. I speak already on the Trinity. I speak for that. That's on the self side. Nobody there for that. But I represent and I display all of me, not just the wizard of me. Because the wizard of me have been also shown that the frequency is connected to all of us that came up with it. And this is how we could be an advanced civilization, the most advanced civilization in the world, with all the culture things and safety nets to build like no other. The most sought are out. So yeah, we know. Yeah. We know you want to take the man out of me. Yeah. We know you want to take the woman out of us. Yeah. We know. You want to go left. You want to go right. And then if I say it's not left, he's just. Oh, does that sound what I just finished saying? Is that antisocial? No, that's the most advanced, most connective communication that I have, that I hold, that they don't, and they practice and showing you how to put that down and manipulate that, because they don't have it and they have to show that they don't have. But then you know my footsteps. Everybody witnessed me growing up. My whole life been that event. I am that. One member, one God. Trinity.